We are looking at ancient literature, which means really old literature. The first piece we looked at was from the Hebrew Bible. And what we were reading was the basis of the religious faith of Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. So why did we read that? What is the purpose of reading that in this course? Absolutely. It's the foundation of three major religions. So that, of course, has influenced people's lives. It's influenced their morals, influenced legal traditions, it's influenced literature, it's influenced art. It's had a huge impact on Western civilization, and that means us. So we looked at it as a document, as a piece of literature, and even though it is based on faith, we looked at it as a piece of literature, the impact it had, the themes in it that make it so appealing to so many people. Well, who is the head of that faith, those faiths? Who is at the very center?
Some form of deity.
Some form of deity, yes. And it is one. And this God is powerful, all-powerful. And he's just, and he loves people. That is in contrast to the gods of the Greeks. And you noticed I said gods. So when we look at the God of the Hebrew, we call that monotheistic. That means one. Okay? The gods, there are many gods in Greek religions, so what do we call that? Polytheistic, yes. So that's the first major difference in them. Now we also know that people worshipped that one powerful God. They made sacrifices to him. They prayed to him. The Greeks do the same thing to their gods. We see that at the very beginning of the story that we're looking at, the Iliad. The priest prays for the Greeks to have a curse, and Apollo honors his prayer. So we see those similarities, okay? Now, one of the things I want you to understand about the Greeks' gods and goddesses is they're mean. They're jealous. They're vindictive. They're manipulative. They manipulate each other. And they also manipulate humans. And they use them, okay? It's just very different from the gods of the Hebrews. Another concept in this story, we talked about this with the concept in the Hebrews, their God is all-powerful. And once he has decided someone's path, it happens. No man gets in the way of it. No person does. And we see the similar concept in the Greeks. How would you describe fate?
An inevitable outcome.
That's a perfect inevitable outcome. All right? Destiny is how that outcome occurs. Okay? If you watch Forrest Gump, you know about destiny. And fate is the inevitable outcome. It's what's going to happen to you. And it's been debated forever. It still is. Is this fate? Is it chance? Who knows? Okay? So fate is the inevitable outcome. And the similarity between the gods of the Greeks and the God of the Hebrew is once it's determined, it can't be changed. Okay? Now these are vocabulary words and you do need to know them, so you probably do need to write this down. So it's the inevitable outcome, and once it's been determined, it can't be changed. So we're going to see that concept very much. We saw it in the story of Joseph where God said, this guy's going to be second in control of Egypt, even after his brothers sold him. And he said, so it was not you but God who sent me here. God had this plan for Joseph, and nothing was going to stop that plan from happening. And we're going to see that with the Greeks also. Once someone's fate has been determined, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. All right? Another concept of this story that is the theme of this story, and you will see this theme over and over in literature, and that is the theme of honor. What does honor, well, first of all, let's think about, well, let's define it. What is honor? Okay, first of all, we're going to say it's someone that with whom we treat with much respect. Okay? What else? How else would you describe someone that you honor? We respect that person. Okay, dignity. I like that. What else?
Something to cherish.
Okay, something that most people desire. You would like for someone to call you honorable rather than dishonorable, certainly. All right, what else? Good point. What do you mean by that? You can't come in here and say, I want y'all to honor me. If you haven't done something to earn our respect and earn that honor, we're going to say, go to the house. Okay, so it is earned. What else about it? Anything else? Recognition, absolutely. So, these are some terms we would use to define honor. Who are some people or positions that we honor in our culture today? We honor the president. Whether we really like whomever is president or not, we honor that position. Okay? Who else? Parents. We certainly should. Who else in our culture receives honor? Law enforcement. We get mad at them sometimes, but we really do honor them because they do primarily keep us safe. We get mad at them when they stop us when we're speeding or, stuff like that. Okay, clergy, absolutely. Military. Let's say yes, people in helping positions, first responders, doctors, nurses. Okay, what is the difference between honor and glory? Because there are a lot of people in our society who receive glory. What's the difference? What has a bigger impact? Honor, yeah. How so?
More who you are and honor, more or less than glory of what you did.
Okay, so glory would be something that you did rather than who you are. So who would be some people that receive glory in our culture?
Athletes.
Athletes, perfect example.
Actors.
Celebrities, yes. I'm going to put celebrities because I think about those Kardashians. I mean, I don't know what they've ever done. They're what? Right. So what did they do to actually accomplish anything? Yeah, have men with children, yeah. Okay, so there's a difference in honor and glory. And it doesn't necessarily, glory does not necessarily result, it's not a good thing. It doesn't always mean that it's good, where honor usually is. So, honor is the most important concept in this story. These people will do anything for honor. They risk everything for it. So how do you think the primary way is that they gain it? From what you've read so far. War. Absolutely. So they are willing to risk everything to receive honor, and the main way that they get it is through fighting. So we see that that's very important in the story. All right, one other concept that we want to talk about is the concept of hero. All right. I'm going to move that down here. When we say hero, what are some words you think of to describe a hero? Okay. What else? Okay, honor and glory. But if you're describing a hero, what are some words you would use to describe qualities of a hero? Selfless. Honest. Can I say honest? Just. Brave. Give me some examples of heroes. This can be fictional characters. Okay, there you go.
Strong.
Strong. Did I not put strong up here? Sorry. Batman, yeah. Spider-Man. Hercules, Wonder Woman, yeah. Okay, so these are what we classify as qualities that a hero would have, right? Well, throughout literature, throughout history, people have looked at similar circumstances that heroes have also. And this is called archetypal qualities of a hero. And we're going to look at some of those because this is pretty interesting. What do Luke Skywalker, Simba, King Arthur, Moses, Wonder Woman, William Wallace, and Optimus Prime all have in common? They're heroes. Okay? And there are certain things, and you do need to write these down because we're going to be looking at heroes all semester, and you need to know about the same archetype qualities that they all have. Okay, and this is, the archetype means it's recurring pattern that happens in cultures around the world. So all around the world, these are some similarities that have been found by people who study these kind of things. All right, these are the traits of the archetypal hero, along with the ones that we said: brave, courage, strong, selfless. These are some more that these people have studied and found throughout cultures. First is unusual circumstances of birth. Okay, usually to royalty. All right, usually from a royal family. Another trait is that they leave the family and live with others. Think about Luke Skywalker. Who did he live with? Did he live with his parents? His aunt and uncle. Okay, he couldn't live with his parents. His mama was his daddy was the ultimate bad guy. So he was raised by his aunt and uncle. And there is usually a traumatic event that leads to a quest. What is a quest? Okay, it's a journey. To solve some sort of mystery. A mission, perfect example, great. And they usually have a special weapon. What was Luke's?
His father's lightsaber?
Yeah, lightsaber, yeah. Okay. And they usually have supernatural help. Think about Simba when he was banished and then he was looking for what he should do. Who spoke to him? His father from the clouds. Yes. So they usually have supernatural help. So, along with the qualities that you listed, here are some other traits that we will see. And you'll be asked throughout the semester, what are the qualities of a hero that this person has? And you will be asked to use these and explain these as well as the ones that we talked about together. All right, any questions about this one? I'm going to do that one. End it. So, well, I can't get out of here. Optimus Prime was what? I do not know how to end this. The slideshow doesn't come down here, so I'm not sure how to get out of here. Does anybody have any advice? There you go. Got it. Thank you. Okay. So, these are some traits of the hero. We're going to see these over and over. And one other definition that I want you to know is the type of poem this is. And this poem is an epic poem. Bless you if you want to be blessed. Do you have any idea what an epic poem means? Well, first of all, you do know. You read it. So, it is long. Yes, an epic poem is long. And it's a narrative, which means it tells a story. And it celebrates the deeds of the hero and reflects the values of a culture. It's a long narrative that celebrates deeds of the hero and reflects the values of a culture. All right, do you have any questions about any of this vocabulary before we move on to the questions for today's story? All right, you read from the Iliad, and you just read part of it. So you've got, I think there are 10 questions. There are. So I'm going to give you about 20 minutes to answer these questions, and then we'll go over them. So get with your people. Honor is the theme that we see reflected in this story. It's written by this guy, maybe, named Homer. Now, Homer didn't make up this story. The story had been told for many generations. Homer is maybe the person who finally wrote it down, and its companion piece is the Odyssey. The Iliad is the story of the war. The Odyssey is the story of the hero Odysseus and his return home. And maybe this guy named Homer wrote it, and these both are considered masterpieces of Western culture, because Homer said, maybe, as they were, so are we. But the characters in his story, he said about them, as they were, so are we. What does that mean?
Based off their culture.
Well, to explain that.
Well, I guess everything that we actually know would become somebody that would be prior to us.
Okay. All right. So if he's talking about people in the past, as they were, so are we. What is he saying about people?
Yes, I would more or maybe attention, still remain the same, still see the same things that they.
Absolutely. People have not changed one bit. People still want the same things. People still have the same flaws. People still have the same virtues. And one of the points he makes in this story is that people can't be successful when they let human emotions get in their way and their flaws. And we see this because it's titled The Rage of Achilles. What is rage? Extreme anger. So we see this anger of these really powerful people that's blinding them to the greater good. And that's one of the points that Homer's making, and he said that still is a flaw, that still causes problems. And 5,000 years later, yeah, we still got the same issues to deal with in ourselves and other people. So he's written down this story that has been passed down. And he starts off with this device that all epic poets after him used. He says, "Sing, goddess, Achilles' rage, black and murderous, that cost the Greeks incalculable pain, pitched countless souls of heroes into Hades dark, and left their bodies to rot as feasts for dogs and birds, as Zeus's will was done. Begin with the clash between Agamemnon, the Greek warlord, and godlike Achilles." Okay, he starts off and he says, "Sing, goddess." He is using this poetic device. Please write this down because you will see it again and again and again. It is called the invocation, invocation, invocation to the muses, muses. Anybody have any clue what muses are? Absolutely, it's the gods of inspiration. If any of you know anything about Taylor Swift, you know her ex-boyfriends are always her muses. Mean Girls are her muses. They're her inspiration. She writes songs and is very famous and wealthy because of her inspiration. So he is appealing. Invocation means like appealing through a prayer. He is appealing to the gods of inspiration to help him tell this story. And he begins with this argument between Agamemnon and Achilles. All right, the very beginning, Agamemnon is insulting someone. Okay, there is this concept when they, or this action that these people take when they conquer somebody, they get booty. And that stuff, and it also means girls. So they divide it with the troops. And the big guy always gets the best, and then the second in command gets the next best, and so forth down the line. So they conquered Chryses. That's the place where they lived. Chryses is the priest there, and he has a daughter, Chryseis. Confused? Yeah. A lot of names in here that will confuse us. Okay, so Chryses is Chryseis is Chryses' daughter. And when they conquered them, they took her, and Agamemnon kept her. She was the virgin, beautiful daughter, so he kept her for himself. So her father has come to ask for his daughter to be returned. Okay? And Agamemnon says, And in the meantime insults 3 different groups, or 3 different people. Who are they? Yes. Yes. We're going to talk about her in just a minute. Okay? So who were the 3 people that he insulted? First of all, Apollo. The priest says, honor Apollo and give her back. All right? Who else? Yeah. When he came, the Greek army said, respect him and give her back. And then who else? The priest himself. He calls him an old man, says, if you come back, I'm going to kill you. And he says, the girl is mine. She'll be an old woman in Argos before I let her go working from the loom in my house and coming to my bed. So he banishes him. He makes him leave. So Chryses prays to Apollo and says, put a curse on him. So he does. He answers his prayer. So the Greeks are saying, oh man, what in the world's going on? So they've called on Calchas. Who is Calchas? Yeah? He's a prophet. Yes, he can see the future. Now, he asked something from Achilles. They want to know what the problem is. What does he want Achilles to do? To protect him. Why? Because what's he going to tell? They're being punished because he did not return the woman. He's afraid of what Agamemnon's going to say when he says, it's your fault. We got this curse because you wouldn't give the girl back. So he goes to Achilles and said, I'm only going to tell it if you got my back. And Achilles says, of course I've got your back. Tell it. So then he does. So then Achilles and Agamemnon get in an argument. Why? He does. And he says, if I give my girl back, I'm going to take your girl. And he says, I've got the authority to do it. And Achilles says, you can't do that. If you start taking back people's stuff you gave them, they'll be demoralized. You can't do that. He says, oh, yes, I can. So this is in front of the entire army. So what has he done? What has Agamemnon done to Achilles? Dishonored him. He's insulted him in front of the whole army. So on page 193, we see this argument. He says, it's you, dogface, and Menelaus' army that, in Menelaus' honor that I'm doing all this. It's, you know, why am I doing this if you're going to act like this to me? And then Achilles does something. What does he do that Athena has to stop? Yeah, he's pulling his sword and he's about to kill him. He's going to kill the general in front of the entire army. And Athena says, stop. Why does she tell him to stop? Yeah, but what else does she say? Yeah, but then what else does she say? You're going to get yours anyway. Yes. Don't do this. It's a big mistake for you to kill the general right now. How stupid is that, Achilles? Don't do it. You're going to end up with much better than you're going to get now. So Achilles does, and what does he do? He says, okay, I'm not going to kill you. What does he tell him he's going to do? What does Achilles decide to do here? He does insult him, but what else does he do? Yeah, he says, I'm going back to my ship. I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm just fighting because I like to fight. But I'm not going to do anything that would bring honor to you, Agamemnon, because you just dishonored me in front of everybody that matters. So he takes his stuff, and on page 395, on line 259, he says, you're going to be real sorry because you failed to honor the best Greek of all, me. So then he leaves, and he starts crying, and who does he cry for? His mama. So his mother comes, and what does he want from his mother? To go to Zeus and yes, I want them to be really sorry that I left this war. So I want you to go ask Zeus to make the Trojans win. So of course his mother does. And what's the deal that she makes with him? Well, first of all, how does she approach him? Is that one of the questions here? She puts her hand on his knee and her other hand on his face. That is called the supplicant position. Supplicant. She is that's like a respectful, like if you go to court, you know, you dress up and you treat the judge with respect and you ask for a plea. That's pretty much what she's doing. This is a code of respect. And what does she ask him? Honor my boy. So he says, all right, you're going to get me in a lot of trouble. But what deal does he make with her? I'm going to nod my head, and you slip out the way you came in, and don't tell anybody about this. You keep this on the down low. So then Hera does come in there, and he does tell her to shut up. They get in an argument, and he does tell her to shut up. And that's how that one ends. And we start with book 6. So we'll finish talking about that on Monday, as well as the rest of the Iliad. So you need to finish the Iliad